Welcome to the Trust and Believe NOMADCAST, a podcast that covers a wide range of topics. So come chill with us on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Here's your host, Mr. Anderson.
Episode 83 of the Trust and Believe NOMADCAST here on a Monday on the 7th of March, 2022. Glad you guys are here with me, hanging out. I hope you guys had a great weekend, a safe weekend, a sound weekend, and more importantly, just taking time for yourself and your family and all the etc. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you. All right, today is Monday Mental Combat, y'all. Monday Mental Combat. I want to talk about some things that I think is very important, some things that kind of get lost in society. You know, you're supposed to take care of others. You owe things to others. You owe things to situations, so on and so forth. But when do we really take the time to say we owe it to ourselves? And I'm emphasizing that word it for a reason, for a purpose. It. We owe it to ourselves. So that's going to be the title today's episode on the NOMADCast is We Owe It to Ourselves. And I broke it down into 5 ways that we owe it to ourselves. It. And, the thing about it, we talking about being happy and all these other things in life where you want to have a great life, a successful life, a sustainable life. But again, just like in the video, episode 45, when I said say yes to yourself, this is almost as a part 2, but not really. Just saying it to ourselves. We owe it. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So again, the title is Why We Owe It to Ourselves. I'm going to explain it, break it down into 5 ways. 5 ways that we can enjoy the it's of our life, right? And then you can use this as a testimony for yourself. You can translate it to other people so they can have a testimony, so they can feed off your mistakes, feed off your happiness, feed off your glory. And everyone, it's almost like paying it forward in life. All right. So again, we talk about why we owe it to ourselves. So let's go ahead and start with the first one. Number 1, the ability to cry. It being crying. We owe ourselves the ability to cry. I will tell you from personal experience, 47 years of living on God's green earth, I have probably cried maybe 11 or 12 times. And people will say, well, Mr. Anderson, how do you know how often you've cried? I'm not a crier. I probably should cry more than I've ever have cried. I probably should cry a lot. The most of the times I've cried in the past is whenever I go to a duty station. You know, in the military, if you go to these dependent restrictive tours and you got to go by yourself for an extended period of time, you know, it can be very devastating to the psyche. It could be devastating to your mentals. It could be devastating to your family and all the et ceteras involved because there's so much stress involved with that. But I would tell you the first time, you know, I won't say that I cried as an adult. Yeah, I probably say the first time I cried as an adult was when I was in the Marine Corps and I left MOS school in Albany, Georgia and transferred to Yuma, Arizona, which ended up being like the epicenter of my whole life. Got married. My first child was born there, right? You've all heard the story. And so when I got to Yuma, Arizona in 1994, I landed in July. I can't remember what day it was in July, but I landed on a Saturday. And I was so excited to land in Arizona, to be stationed in Arizona, because I never knew anything about Yuma except for the old Western. And what is it, 310 to Yuma? I'm telling my age here. But I remember I landed on the weekend. And so the staff duty NCO, the staff duty officer, they placed me in the transit barracks until Monday. And then Monday, you know, I would get my own room and everything. So I'm in the transit barracks that Saturday, right? And I'm walking. That's Saturday. So I'm walking around and everything, and it's like blazing hot in Yuma, Arizona. And I just left all my friends that I made in boot camp, that I made in MCT, that I made in MOS school. All those guys were behind. There was only one person that came with me, that transferred with me to Yuma, Arizona. And we weren't really tight. But I ended up getting there, and I was walking around the PX and all that. And I remember I went back to my room and I bawled, tears. Why did the Marine Corps send me here? Why do I have to be here? I want to be around all my friends. I don't know nobody here. And looking back at it, 20 something years ago, I'm thinking like, gosh, dog, dude, I didn't even really give it a chance. I was only in Yuma for a few hours. And I went back to the room. I remember eating some Godfather's pizza. They had Godfather's pizza there. And I had a full of a 12-inch pepperoni pizza. And I ate it. I drank some pop. And I just started bawling. I mean, I'm just crying because I missed all my friends in boot camp. I missed all these guys, like I just said. And all of a sudden, I'm in Yuma, Arizona by myself. So that was the first time as an adult I experienced crying. I mean, like just full-fledged. And I cried and I cried. And then I realized, dude, you've only been here for a few hours. Monday, you get your new barracks room, and then your life can start. And eventually, my life did start. And I think that's one of the things that we owe ourselves. I know I kind of went off on the tangent, but I'm all about sharing experiences. But I know when you cry, you feel a lot better. I've cried at funerals. I've cried when even as growing up, even more as an adult. When I was in Korea by myself, when I first got there, I cried, in the barracks room. Because I'm the type of dude, man, I miss my wife. I miss my kids. And they tell you this, I'm on the Skype with them, on the phone, the video calls, and I'm just, I want to go home. Then it's like, dude, you're there for a reason. Get yourself together, lean forward in the foxhole, and execute this mission so you can rotate back to the States. And, it's just a human thing. I'm a very sentimental guy. I'm an emotional guy. And, to separate yourself from the spouse, to separate yourself from the children, and now you got to play Army and fight Army and do what Army says. Because Army is like, look, man, your family's in the States. You ain't got time for all that crying. Let's roll. So you find ways to be an adult, but you also find a few minutes to kind of be that inner child again, crying for, due to separation. But I think we owe ourselves the ability to cry. A lot of us, we grew up and, oh, you can't cry, especially us males. Oh, you can't cry. You shouldn't cry. Men shouldn't cry. I would tell you, in this day and age, in 2022, it will behoove you, using my old military terms, it will behoove you, male or female, man or woman, child, adult, whoever. It is okay to cry. It is okay to shed tears. It is okay to generate waterworks. Sometimes when you have a great memory in life, it's not that you sad, you shed a tear. Sometimes you can hear a song. That's why I say music is so critical to the brain, to both sides of the brain. It's critical to the ears because when you hear a certain note, you hear a certain song, you tear up a little bit because you remember the good times about that particular song, that particular hymn, that particular note. Crying, there is nothing wrong with crying, ladies and gentlemen. Cry. Like I said, generate those waterworks. Cry till you can't cry no more. But I will tell you, it's better to cry when you're by yourself. Now, you can cry in the front of people. If you got a board meeting or some type of training meeting or whatever, and you just bawl out crying, I don't know if that's the situation. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the right atmosphere to be crying. But I tell you, for a person that has gotten in this room, in the military or other places, even in my house now, there's been times I've cried. Shoot, when I freaking retired, right? That first Monday after retirement, my wife is at work, my kids at school, and I sat around the house, and I'm like, what the freak? This train has stopped. And you start thinking about the time in the Marine Corps, the time in the Army, going to the field, the relationships, being the mentor and doing all these things, the times you hated, going to the field and, when you got chewed out by the first sergeant, whatever. All those emotions rang up in me and it just manifested into tears, the waterworks, just crying and just crying. And then I feel bad about it because I've come to the point now, I understand mental health. I understand the pain of mental health, the stress levels involved with it. I'll tell you, there's sometimes now I would just sit around, I would drive, and sometimes you just shed a tear. Sometimes you're just happy. Sometimes you're sad. It all depends on the situation. But I would tell you, there's nothing wrong with crying. We owe it to ourselves to cry. We owe it to ourselves to cry. Do not feel bad. If you need to shed a tear, and you think about it, when you're crying, do you realize you can start thinking of a solution to that potential problem? Just say if you a person, you got to deal with bills and all these different things in life, the stresses of life. You'll realize if you're crying, just say you're praying and you're crying, you can develop a solution if you keep your mind open, if you keep your ears open. You'll end up developing a solution through those waterworks. I'm telling you, I've lived it. Again, I ain't telling y'all because I'm guessing. I'm telling you because I know I've experienced this. Crying, the ability to cry. That was number one. Number two, one thing we owe it to ourselves. We have to own our mistakes. We have to own our mistakes and not pass it on to the next person thinking they're going to fix the problem. Sometimes we just got to own it. Hey, I said this yesterday. I shouldn't have said it. My apologies. Moving forward, I will ensure I will not use that type of language again, so on and so forth. However your apologies are set up. We have to own our mistakes. And again, giving you a life experience, I've made so many mistakes in life, military, just being a regular human. Because the thing about it, I am human. You are humans. We are humans. You owe it to yourselves to own that mistake. Whatever you did at work, if you were supposed to do a daggone presentation and you were supposed to brief 5 slides, but you only briefed 4, and the slides were all jacked up, the fonts were jacked up, everything was just out of sequence, and you didn't prepare for it, instead of just blaming it on somebody, well, the computer was messed up. Well, I didn't get a chance to go to sleep, whatever. Just own it. Hey, I messed this slide presentation up. I apologize. Moving forward, I will make sure, I take advantage of time, so on and so forth. Whatever apology you want to set up, but we have to own our mistakes. That is the only way we are going to grow. And I always want to use we instead of you, because I am a part of this. While I'm talking this, I am learning, I am teaching myself. We have to own our mistakes. A lot of people say, don't cry over spilled milk. Don't cry over spilled milk. Just own it. Why'd you spill the milk? Well, I opened up the refrigerator too fast and I wasn't paying attention, and my hand grabbed the handle, but my hand was greasy and the milk fell, whatever it is. Own your mistakes. That is some things that we have to do as humans, all facets. We have to own our mistakes and just say, hey, I'll do better next time. I know when I was a sergeant first class, and the first sergeant, I forgot what it was. I think it was at the range or something. And it wasn't no safety violation. I forgot what the situation was. But I had made a mistake on the range. No one got hurt. There was nothing like that. And he just, chewed me out in front of everybody. Bah, 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 bah. There's like 40, 50 people out there. Everybody's looking around. And he was like, what do you got to say for yourself, Sergeant First Class? What do you got to say? And I said, First Sergeant, I'll do better next time. You know what I mean? So I own that mistake. And he kind of was like, whoa. You know what I mean? It's just a different thing. But you have to own anything that you do that's wrong, own it. I'm an apology type first person because I don't like to hold stuff in. I don't like grudges. I don't like stuff simmering in my soul, because that leads to negative reactions. It leads to negative actions. So if you make a mistake in life, own it. I did it. Here's what I learned from it. Here was the problem. I'm going to provide a solution. I made a mistake. Let's figure it out, or I will figure it out, so this will never happen again. Own the mistake. Number 3, you owe it to yourself to take a break. When you watch social media or listen to social media, or you watch TV, you watch commercials, whatever, people will tell you if you're not going 700 miles an hour, 385 days out the year, 250 hours out of the day, you are making a mistake. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no way. You're human. You're not a freaking robot. You're human. If you need time to reset. Remember, you're not quitting, you're resetting. I told our daughter this the other day. She had a work scheduling, I won't say a work scheduling issue, but she was going to work crazy early and it was tiring her out, it was physically draining her. And she, still going to school and all that, just being a young adult. And she realized, you know what? I can accomplish the same thing, during regular work hours as I can working these early hours. So why am I going to work 2 or 3 hours prior when I can accomplish the same things doing regular, normal business hours? And, she felt like she was quitting on the company that she works for. And me and Mrs. Anderson told her, you're not quitting. All you're doing is resetting. You're taking a break. Sometimes we just have to take a break. Again, this is something I had to learn, oh my gosh, for years. Just keep going, keep pounding the sand. At some point, your body, there's few things in life that will tell you the truth. A child will tell you the truth. A drunk person will tell you the truth. And God dog it, your body will tell you the truth. You will get to a point where you just running and doing all these things in life, and your body will give you warnings. Your body will give you a headache. Your body will give you a little pain notification. If you continue to ignore it, your body will shut down. You need a break. Why do you think so many athletes, so many actors and actresses and all these people of the world, they die from mental exhaustion. They die from physical exhaustion. You know why? Because they don't take freaking breaks. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Anderson is licensing everyone to take a break, right? You have to take a break in life. Again, you're not quitting. You are resetting. It's like I said last Friday when we had the safety brief. If you get to a point during a weekend where you work 5 days a week and you ground pounding 40, 50 hours a week, and you come up on a Saturday morning and you promise them that you was going out. You promised them that you was going to the store. You promised them you was doing all these great and wonderful things. You wake up on a Saturday morning and you tell yourself, I am not getting out the bed. You deserve to take a break. You owe it to yourself. You owe yourself time to reset, recalibrate, reorganize, reassess. What are you doing mentally and or physically? You got to take that time, because if you don't, it's like I gave the analogy already. Your body will tell you, if you don't shut down, I will shut down with you. Take time. Now, don't be lazy. Don't be a quitter, but you have to take a break and you have to reset. So if you're doing anything in life and you feel you're going full bull, just foot on the gas, all gas, no brakes, and you rocking. At some point, your body will shut down. Your body will tell you, I told you. I gave you a headache to slow you down. I gave you a little pain in the elbow to slow you down. A little back pain, remember that from yesterday? And you need to slow down, or you want to continue to keep going? Boom, I got you. It's even like with this podcast, right? The NOMADCAST. Initially, when I first started this thing, I was going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I would tell you, even though I'm retired and I got all the time in the world, it's still draining, because a lot of people think, well, you just push the button and talk. There's a little bit more to it. You not only pushing the button, you're doing the photography, you're directing, you're producing, you're doing the editing, and that takes forever. Then you got to upload to YouTube, then upload it to all the social media. It can get to a point where I was saying, you know what, man, is this really worth it? I knew the message was great. I know everything I was doing was fine, was great, needed improvement, of course, but I knew what I was doing was fine. It's just the other stuff that's not seen. The behind the scenes was draining. So I say, you know what? I talked with Miss Anderson. I say, you know what? I don't want to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? Let's go Monday, Tuesday, take a break in the middle of the week. It allows me to mentally reset, and then I can go ahead and finish it out strong Thursdays and Fridays. And I also have that parallel working with my workout schedule. So now I do my podcast Monday, Tuesday. I work out Monday, Tuesday. I don't do no NOMADCAST on the Wednesday. I don't work out on the Wednesday. I resume activities that Thursday with the NOMADCAST, and Thursday working out, and Friday. You know what I mean? So I would tell you again, I'm not telling y'all because I'm guessing. I'm telling you because I know I needed to do this because I didn't want to go 4 straight days. That is draining. Coming up with topics, the editing, and everything that's involved with you guys hearing and seeing this Nomad cast. It can be very draining, right? Especially when you're the only one that's doing it. I'm not outsourcing my editing. I'm not outsourcing the production, none of this, the lighting. I'm doing all of this. I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm saying it can become draining trying to come up with topics, anything. And it got to the point where I was like, man, bump it. I need to figure out a way. So I sat and I kind of reset myself. How can I make this thing work? What is better for me, right? Because I got to be at my optimal level to perform at the level that you guys want to hear, at the level you guys want to see. Monday, Tuesday, break, Thursday, Friday. I'm saying all that to say what? I learned I needed to take a break. I wish I had to learn some of this stuff when I was still in the Army, because a lot of times we just went full bull, especially that assignment, my last assignment in Korea. Well, the unit didn't really allow you to take break because of the unit composition and the threat that we had in Korea during that time. And I was in Korea 2017 to 2018. So if your head was under a rock, it was hot. It was hot over there. And I ain't talking about the weather. So the op tempo didn't allow you to take a break. You had to be full bull. I mean, you had to keep going, keep going, keep going. And if you're tired, figure it out, keep going, keep going. And then when I got to my last duty station, it was kind of the tempo slowed down immensely to the point where I was frustrated because the things I complained about in Korea about everything going too fast. And when I got to my last duty station, it wasn't so fast. Then I found myself frustrated. So that's another stressor. Again, you have to take breaks. You owe it to yourself to take breaks in life. Again, just to wrap that part up, you're not quitting. You're just resetting. You owe it to yourself to take a break. Number 4, loving yourself as you are. You can love your spouse. You can love your mama, your dad, your sister, your brother. Nobody loves you like you. Kanye West proves that every day. Damon Dash proves that every day. No one loves you like you. You have to love yourself. Not only love yourself, but love who you are. You know how hard that is? You know how difficult that is for someone to love themselves? A lot of people, I grew up with a lot of folks that did not love themselves. They hated themselves so much that they used that hate against fellow citizens, bullying, beating up, robbing, stealing, sometimes taking lives, because those people didn't love themselves as they are. They hated themselves when they looked in the mirror. I don't like what I see. I hate what I see. So if I don't like what I see and I hate what I see, why should I like you? I hate you. You know what I mean? So we have to get out of that mindset. We have to love ourselves. Again, you're being selfish. You love your family. Get it, got it, acknowledge, note it. But you have to love yourself. If you can't love this person that you are, how on God's green earth, can you love someone else? You have to love the person who you are. You love yourself with your looks. You love yourself with the mistakes. You love yourself because you want to take breaks. You love yourself because of your hairstyle. You love your hair the way your body is. If your body's not the way you want it, so what? Work hard at it, but love yourself. If your car isn't the car that you want, love it. Love yourself. Love the person that's driving that car that you don't like. Love the person that's living in that house that you don't like. Love the person that's at work at the job you don't like. Love yourself for who you are, because that's all you have. You don't have time to worry about no one else. You can't be anybody else. You know why? Because everybody's taken. Love yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Please love yourself for who you are. It is very important that you, me, we understand. It is important. I can't stress that enough. The operative word is important. It is important that you love the person that you are. Love who you are. Last one. Being your number one fan. You owe yourself to be your number one fan. It's almost similar to loving yourself. Everyone can root for you. Oh, man, you're going to do great. Oh, man, you're doing fine. You have to be your number one fan. If you're not rooting for you, how can you have everybody else rooting for you? You have to root for yourself. Now, you're not conceited. You're not cocky. You're just confident. And what Jada Kiss say, and when I say that I'm the best, that's a compliment. Went back in my roots here. But I'm telling you, you have to be your number one fan. You have to be your number one cheerleader. You have to be your number one critic, in my opinion, and you have to be your number one cheerleader. Because everybody tell you, oh, you're doing great. Oh, you look fine. Oh, those shoes look good. You got to be your number one critic, and you have to be your number one fan. And sometimes it's like mixing water and oil with those two I just mentioned. You have to be your number one fan. How do you be your number one fan? It's all about confidence, believing in yourself, preparing yourself for the battle, the mental battles, the physical battles, the spiritual battles. You got to be your number one fan. Utilize all the tools that you were birthed with, your God's given skills, your God given tools, and utilize those for success in your life. Utilize those to provide goodwill to other people. Use those tools and experiences to be testimonies for other people so people can use your testimonies. You have to be your number one fan. You got to root for you, man. I know my wife and my children are rooting for me in life with this NOMADCAST, but gosh dog, man, Damon got to root. I got to be my number one fan. Because if I walk around the house, oh, my NOMADCAST numbers are low. Woe is me. I'm doing everything. They gonna be like, look, Dad, why don't you just stop and go fishing every day? Can't do that. I'm not a quitter. I won't do it. Will never do it, right? I will give myself a break if I get tired, but I won't quit. I'm my number one fan. Again, you're not being cocky. You're just confident. You're not conceited. You're just confident. You have to be your number one fan. If you are not your number one fan, who's going to root for you? You know what I mean? It's almost like the job situation. Oh, man, I hope you get a job, man. Good luck on that interview. But if you walk around the house or walk around the street, man, I ain't going to be able to successfully navigate that interview because I'm not confident in myself. I'm not this, I'm not that. If you keep saying you're not this, you're not that, the people that's rooting for you are going to believe that. You know what I mean? People are rooting for you, but you have to root for yourself. You got to be your number one cheerleader. And that's talking to yourself. That's mental right there. Monday mental combat. That's telling yourself, I can do this. I don't care if I'm not qualified. I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out because I know I have what it takes. My voice is going to be heard. I know what I'm doing. And if I don't know what I'm doing, I will know what I'm doing. I'm going to keep going. You got to be your number one fan. Whatever it takes for you at night, whatever it takes for you throughout the day, right? You have to be your number one fan. Again, just to put a bow on this and close it out. If you are not, I'm going to say it slow. If you are not your number one fan, how will you have fans? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in today on episode 83 of the Trust and Believe NOMADCAST. I hope we all got something out of it. Definitely a great teaching point. We talked about why it is important. Why do we owe ourselves it? We owe it to ourselves. It being the operative word, but we kind of just broke it down to different categories. We talked about number one, the ability to cry. Number two, owning your mistakes. Number three, taking a break. Number four, loving yourself as you are. And we wrapped it up with number five, being your number one fan. Again, I am a person. I love life stories. I believe life stories and experiences are the best teachers. So thank you guys for tuning in today. Hope you guys have a great and successful Monday. Continue to move forward. Thank you for everything that you do. All praises due. All the best. See y'all tomorrow for Talking on a Tuesday. Let's say it all together. Trust and believe. See y'all tomorrow.